I want to start this video off by saying I got this idea from this keeping it casual video where he discusses a card that makes you win and lose the game at the same time because there's no other way in the game of doing this. So I have actually found a way with the help of some commenters, mainly actually keeping it casual himself, who replied to one of my comments. So I'll just cut to it. So this is the let me just yeah. So this is the board state right now. I'm just going to, let's see if I can flip these cards. There we go. Cool. So now, board state. The only cards the one who wins and loses at the same time, control, are the Cheese Stands Alone, which by the way, because an opponent controls this R&D secret lair, means that it reads exactly as written, which is if you control, which means winning the game through this is a state-based action. Now, grizzly bears, just any random creature will work. I use grizzly bears because it's funny. Now, your opponent's hand, ton of cards in it, we'll go through them. These lands are kind of chosen to match the pips, but R&D Secret Lair is important. It's what makes this entire combo work. So now, it is your opponent's turn. You have 20 life, they have 20 life, you have no cards in hand. They have these 10 cards in their hand, although there is draw spells in there, so they don't really have to be in their hand, they just have to have them in their library or in their hand and be able to draw them. Now for lands, they control 6 lands that produce any color, doesn't matter, one of those being R&D Secret Lair. At least 4 black mana sources, at least 1 white mana source, at least 1 blue mana source. You can probably shift this around if you do the cards. I just chose to do it this way because it's the least mana effective way, which is the funniest. So now, we will start by, so your opponent will start by tapping 1 and a white for an everybody lives. So, neither of us can win or lose, and players can't lose life this turn. And so now, they are going to tap 1 blue, prologue to freeze us. We have 1 poison counter. 1 black, ooh, I hilariously miscounted the mana here. The exact amount of mana doesn't matter, this is just an example. So, zoom, this is an Icarats, ETB, I get a poison counter, non-targeting, because everybody gains hexproof, so that's kind of important. More Icarat, I'll just tap out all the mana so I can show you everything. So then, prologue to free, so that's 3 poison counters right there. This also gives poison counters, gives a single poison counter, gives a single poison counter. So you just have 10 cards that give an opponent poison counters. So this is like an out-of-nowhere victory. This is just the funniest way to do it. So that's 9 cards that give poison counters right there. And then a 10th card, Theresis Outbreak. Each opponent gets a poison counter. Then creatures your opponent control get -1/-1 until end turn for each poison counter it has. So Grizzly Bears dies. So now, Cheese Stands Alone is active. We have 10 poison counters. We would be winning the game if it wasn't for everybody wins. Now, your opponent passes their turn. As a result, I don't know if this happens between turns or happens during your upkeep. Whatever it is, Cheese Stands Alone, state-based effect, poison counter, state-based effect. You win the game, you lose the game. You have both won and lost the game. Congratulations, that happened. This is if your pod allows uncards, this is completely commander legal. This should be legal in most formats where uncards are allowed, but of course your opponent has to be playing this exact deck. You have to have this exact board state. Kind of crazy to do, but then again, you are playing the Cheese Stands Alone. You probably have some way of achieving this board state. Your opponent's playing poison counters, so they probably have some way of achieving this board state. I'm joking there, they probably don't. But you probably have some way of having just a creature and the Cheese Stands Alone. So now, you have both won and lost the game.